There are some habits that come with old age that no one warns us about. Not the doctors, not the books, not even our closest friends. These are not just physical problems or memory slips. These are deeper. These are the small, silent behaviors that begin to form over time. Habits that can quietly push others away, even when we do not mean to. You may have seen it yourself. A once loved grandfather who now complains too often. A gentle neighbor who used to smile, but now only speaks to correct others. A kind aunt who used to be full of grace, now bitter and withdrawn. People change with age, but not always in ways that feel kind or easy to live with. These are what I call the ugly habits. Not because the people are ugly, far from it, but because these habits make life harder, colder, and lonelier. And the worst part? Most elders do not even realize they are doing it. Nobody talks about these things openly, out of respect, out of fear, sometimes out of guilt. But silence is not kindness. The truth is, these habits can deeply affect our relationships, our peace, and even how we are remembered when we are gone. In this video, we will gently explore 10 of these uncomfortable truths, not to judge, but to reflect, because it is never too late to grow. And sometimes the smallest changes in our habits can bring the biggest changes in love, dignity, and connection. So please stay with me until the end. This may not be easy to hear, but it just might help someone you love. Or perhaps it might help you. Aging is a journey that every human being must walk through. It does not matter how wealthy you are, how educated, or how strong you once were. Time has a way of softening the body, slowing the steps, and challenging the spirit. And while growing old is a natural part of life, the experience of old age can be very different for each person. Some grow older with grace, becoming wiser, gentler, and even more beautiful in soul. Others, without even realizing it, begin to carry habits that push others away. Habits that create distance, tension, and sorrow in the very relationships they once cherished most. This is not because older people are difficult. It is because aging brings pain. Physical pain, emotional loss, loneliness, fear, and sometimes a quiet frustration that builds over years. Many elders have watched their friends pass away, their children grow busy with lives of their own, and their bodies no longer listen the way they used to. That kind of change can be heartbreaking. And in response to that pain, some people build walls, some complain more, some stop listening, some stop caring about how they speak, dress, or treat others. These behaviors are not always on purpose. Often they are silent habits formed from the years of grief, stress, or feeling forgotten. But here is the hard truth. These ugly habits, if left unexamined, can make others uncomfortable. Not because people are cold, but because it becomes emotionally draining to be around someone who never smiles, who always criticizes, who gives up on themselves. Even family members who love deeply can begin to withdraw, quietly, slowly, with guilt in their hearts, simply because they no longer feel warmth or peace in the presence of the elder they once admired. That is why this conversation matters, because silence around this topic is dangerous. When no one tells the truth, habits continue unchecked. And before we know it, we may find ourselves wondering why no one visits anymore, why our calls go unanswered, or why we feel so alone. But let me make one thing clear. This video is not here to shame anyone. It is here to help, to offer gentle awareness, to remind all of us that change is possible, even in the later chapters of life. Science tells us that the human brain can continue growing and adapting well into our 80s and 90s. And the heart, the emotional heart, remains open to love, learning, and reflection until the very end. These 10 habits I will share with you come from stories, from science, and from the quiet voices of elderly people who have lived through regret, loss, and renewal. You may recognize one of these signs in someone you know, or perhaps you may recognize one in yourself. Either way, please listen with kindness, because the truth, spoken with love, can bring healing where silence once brought pain. Let us begin. Habit 1, speaking with bitterness instead of gratitude. Mrs. Margaret used to be known for her warm hugs and kind words. She was the heart of her church group, always offering tea in a gentle ear. But something changed after her husband passed away and her children moved to different cities. When people visited, they began to hear more complaints than conversation. "The world is not the same anymore," she would say. "No one cares, everything is terrible." Visitors started coming less often. Bitterness often comes from deep, unhealed pain. When life takes much from you, your health, your partner, your purpose, it is natural to feel angry. But when that anger becomes your main voice, people feel overwhelmed, not comforted. Science shows that constant negativity affects the brain. It increases stress hormones, reduces immunity, and even shrinks areas connected to memory and empathy. Gratitude, on the other hand, can reverse emotional decline and deepen human connection. The lesson? Bitterness may feel justified, but gratitude heals both the heart and the home. Even small acts of thankfulness, a smile, a kind word, a memory of something good, can invite others back in. Habit 2, letting personal hygiene slip away. Mr. Harold used to shave every morning, wear his favorite blue sweater, and greet his neighbors with pride. But after retirement and a few health issues, he stopped caring. His shirt remained stained, his breath sour, and his nails long and untrimmed. People noticed. And slowly they stopped knocking on his door. No one wanted to say it out loud, but the discomfort was real. Poor hygiene in old age is often not a matter of laziness. It can come from depression, arthritis, memory loss, or even shame. But no matter the cause, it affects how others respond to us. People may feel uneasy, distracted, or even repelled, which can lead to greater isolation. Medical experts say that neglecting hygiene can also lead to serious infections, skin problems, and even cognitive decline. Taking care of the body is not vanity, it is dignity. The lesson? Keeping clean, groomed, and fresh is not just for others. It is a form of self-respect. A shower, haircut, a clean shirt. These small acts can restore confidence and connection. Habit 3, interrupting or not listening anymore. Grandpa William was once a great listener. He would sit with his grandchildren for hours, nodding along as they spoke about school, dreams, or heartbreak. But lately he had changed. He would cut them off mid-sentence, speak over their stories, or steer every conversation back to his own past. "You think that is something? Let me tell you what I went through." At first, they smiled. Then they started avoiding long talks. Aging can bring a strong desire to feel heard, to pass on wisdom, to stay relevant, to hold on to memories. But in the need to be heard, some forget how to hear. This often creates a subtle distance between generations. Studies in social psychology show that active listening builds trust and emotional safety. Interrupting too often, even with good intentions, can make people feel unseen and unvalued. The lesson? Listening is a gift. Especially in old age when people expect us to speak, the simple act of truly hearing others becomes powerful. Let someone finish. Ask a question. Show interest. It keeps hearts close. Habit 4, always talking about illness and pain. Every time someone visited Aunt Grace, she would begin with a list of her symptoms. "My knees are worse today. My back is killing me. The doctor does not know what he is doing. My stomach feels strange again." At first, her family showed concern. They brought soup, offered rides, even stayed overnight. But after months and then years, the visits grew shorter and fewer people came. Pain is real. Chronic illness is exhausting. But when every conversation becomes centered around discomfort, others begin to feel helpless or emotionally drained. They do not know how to respond, especially when there is no solution. Health experts suggest that while it is important to talk about pain, it is equally important to talk about hope, joy, or curiosity. The brain needs positive stimulation to remain emotionally resilient even while managing illness. The lesson: let the pain be part of the story, not the whole story. Balance updates about health with stories, laughter, or moments of beauty. People will stay longer when they feel uplifted, not only burdened. Habit 5, refusing help or becoming controlling. Mr. Edward had always been strong. A former builder, he prided himself on fixing his own roof well into his 70s. But when his daughter offered help, to clean, to cook, to drive, he would snap, "I can do it myself." Even when he fell twice on the stairs, he refused assistance. At first, his family respected his independence. Over time, they began to feel rejected, even hurt. Many elders fear becoming a burden, but in trying to stay in control, they often push away those who simply want to care. Refusing help can make loved ones feel useless or unwanted. Worse, it can lead to accidents that could have been avoided. Psychologists remind us that accepting help is not a sign of weakness. It is a form of trust and an invitation for deeper connection. Letting someone help is giving them a way to show love. The lesson: independence is valuable, but relationships are built on shared responsibility. Saying yes, thank you can be more powerful than saying no, I am fine. Habit 6, speaking harshly without realizing it. Mrs. Ellen had always been known for her honesty. She would tell it like it was, whether someone liked it or not. But as the years went by, her honesty began to hurt feelings. She would comment on her granddaughter's weight, criticize her son-in-law's job, and scoff at modern life. To her, it was just being real. To others, it felt cruel. Older adults sometimes feel they have earned the right to speak freely, and in many ways they have. But tone matters. So does kindness. Words can heal or harm no matter who says them. According to experts in geriatric psychology, emotional sensitivity does not decrease with age. In fact, younger generations may be even more affected by harsh language. What feels like truth to one may feel like rejection to another. The lesson: speak your truth, but wrap it in kindness. Wisdom is not just in what we say, but how we say it. Habit 7, living in the past and rejecting the present. Mr. Richard loved to talk about the good old days, but over time that became all he talked about. He rejected smartphones, scoffed at new music, and said things like, "Your generation has ruined everything." Eventually, his grandchildren stopped bringing up their own lives around him. They felt judged, disconnected. Cherishing the past is natural, even beautiful, but rejecting the present cuts us off from those living in it. When we say that everything today is worse, we are also saying that the people living in it, including our own children and grandchildren, are part of that decline. Neuroscience shows that emotional adaptability is key to mental health and aging. Staying curious, asking questions, and accepting change, even with limits, helps the brain stay sharp and the heart stay young. The lesson: honor the past, but do not live only in it. The present has beauty too, especially when shared with those you love. Habit 8, isolating and expecting others to reach out. After his wife passed, Mr. Stanley stopped attending Sunday dinners. He stopped calling friends, answering messages, or leaving the house. If they care, they will come find me, he thought. Weeks turned into months. The phone remained silent. Grief often leads to withdrawal, and as people age, their social circles naturally shrink. But isolation, especially when chosen, can become a silent poison. Loneliness is now considered as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of dementia, heart disease, and early death. Human beings at every age need connection. The lesson: do not wait to be invited into life. Reach out, send a message, accept the dinner invite. Others may not know you need them unless you show them. Habit 9, giving up on learning or trying new things. Grandma Lily had always been curious, but somewhere in her 70s, she began saying, "I am too old for that." Whether it was learning to use email, joining a walking club, or trying a new dish, she said no before trying. At first, her family respected her wishes, but slowly they stopped including her in new plans. She had made her world small, not because it had to be, but because she chose it. Brain research tells us that neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to grow, does not stop in old age. Learning something new, even something small, can delay memory loss, reduce depression, and boost self-worth. The lesson: you are never too old to be a beginner. Trying something new tells the world and yourself that life still matters. Habit 10, carrying regret but never speaking about it. This last one is the heaviest. It is also the most powerful. Mr. George was 84 when he whispered it to me. I wish I told her I forgave her before she died. He was talking about his sister. They had argued 20 years ago over something small. Pride kept them apart. And when she passed, so did his chance to make peace. Many elderly people carry regrets for things said, things never said, time wasted, people hurt. But instead of speaking, they bury it. They stay silent. And that silence eats at the soul. A study from Stanford University found that people near the end of life do not fear death as much as they fear unfinished emotional business. Unsaid apologies, unreleased pain, unfelt love. The lesson: speak before it is too late. Say, I forgive you. Say, I love you. Say, I am sorry. Words can bring peace, even after years of silence. If you are still watching this video, then I want to pause and speak to you from a deeper place. You have listened patiently to these first 9 signs, and that tells me something important about you. It tells me that you care not only about yourself, but about how you affect others. That you are not just growing older, you are trying to grow wiser. That is rare, and it is beautiful. Now, I would like to ask something of you. It is a simple invitation, but a meaningful one. Please take a moment to leave a comment below with the words "still strong." It is not just a phrase. It is a declaration, a quiet promise that despite everything life has thrown at you, despite the losses, the aches, the silence, the regrets, you are still here, still open, still willing to listen and grow. That matters more than you know. When others scroll through the comments and see those words, "still strong," they may feel less alone. They may feel inspired. They may think, if he can keep going, if she can keep learning, so can I. You never know who your courage will touch. I would also love to know, which one of these signs surprised you the most? Was it the one about refusing help, or the danger of isolation, or perhaps the regret that hides in silence? Every story matters, even yours, especially yours. This is more than just a YouTube video. This is a quiet circle of people, many over the age of 50, many feeling forgotten or unheard, coming together through shared experience. Whether you are in a quiet living room, a care home, a hospital bed, or sitting alone in your kitchen with a warm cup of tea, know this: you are not forgotten here. You are seen. You are valued. So let us build something deeper than views and clicks. Let us build understanding. And that starts with honesty. If you have felt yourself drifting into one of these habits, perhaps speaking bitterly or pushing people away without meaning to, you are not alone. So many of us have done it. Sometimes life hardens us slowly, like a stone weathered by time. But the beauty is we can soften again. We can return to who we truly are: kind, open, loving. And if you are someone who cares for an elder, a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, I would love to hear your voice too. What have you seen? What have you learned? Your insight could help someone else who is struggling right now. So once more, if you are still with me, write "still strong" in the comments. Share a story, a feeling, or simply a word of hope. Because this world needs more voices like yours, honest, wise, and brave enough to keep growing. You are not done yet, and neither is your impact. Final habit: unspoken love in the silence that hurts more than age. In the final years of his life, Mr. Thomas became quieter, not just in volume, but in spirit. He was the kind of man who had worked hard, provided for his family, and carried a quiet strength wherever he went. But there was one thing he rarely did. He rarely said, "I love you." He believed actions spoke louder than words. He thought paying bills, fixing things around the house, or bringing home groceries was enough to show care. And in many ways it was. But when his wife passed, when the house grew cold and her chair sat empty, he found himself sitting in silence, whispering the words he had held inside for decades. "I did love you. I just never said it enough." That moment, that whisper, was not heard by her, but it was heard by his daughter, who stood just outside the door, and it broke her heart. Many people in old age carry love like an unspoken truth, something assumed, something too deep or too tender to express. But what often goes unnoticed is that unspoken love can feel like absence to those who long to hear it. Children grow up never hearing a parent say, "I am proud of you." Spouses sleep beside each other for years without the warmth of simple affection. Grandchildren wonder if they truly matter, all because the words stay locked away. Science has shown that emotional expression is not only healing for the receiver, it is vital for the one who gives it. A study from Harvard Medical School found that elders who express gratitude and affection live longer, experience less depression, and maintain stronger relationships in their final years. The truth is, love that is not spoken can still be lost. And sometimes those final years come faster than expected. Accidents happen, illness comes, time runs out quietly like the last flame of a candle no one noticed burning low. So this is the final and perhaps most important habit: holding back love, forgiveness, or appreciation until it is too late. If there is someone you have not called, call them. If there is someone you have not forgiven, speak to them. If you love someone and you have not said it in a while, do not wait for the perfect moment. This moment is enough. Mr. Thomas told his daughter later that he would give anything to go back and say those words every day, not just in his mind, but out loud. And though it was late, he started. He told his daughter he was proud of her. He told his grandson that he believed in him. And though his body grew weaker with each passing month, his heart became stronger. The lesson: speak the love that lives inside you. Say it now, because unspoken love leaves behind the loudest silence. Let us take a breath together. You have just walked through 10 quiet, uncomfortable, and deeply human habits that can shape or silently sabotage the final chapters of life. And if you have stayed with me through each one, then I believe you are someone who is not only aging, but awakening. Aging is not a punishment. It is a privilege, one denied to many, but it is also a mirror. It reflects back to us everything we have done, everything we have said, and everything we have left unsaid. That is why this conversation matters. The habits we discussed today, from refusing help to speaking harshly, from isolating ourselves to withholding love, they do not make someone a bad person. They make someone human. Many of these habits are born from pain, from fear, from pride, or from deep wounds that were never allowed to heal. But there is something beautiful hidden in that truth. If we can recognize a habit, we can change it. And if we can change it, we can heal. Not just ourselves, but the relationships around us. You see, life is not only about how long we live, but about how deeply we connect, how softly we speak, how openly we forgive, how bravely we say the words that matter most. I once heard someone say, "You do not grow old, you grow revealed." That has stayed with me, because the older we get, the more the world sees our truest self, not just in our faces or our bodies, but in our habits, our words, our choices. The good news is this: it is never too late to begin again. Whether you are 50, 70, or 90, your next conversation can be softer. Your next phone call can be braver. Your next day can hold more peace than the last. All it takes is a small shift in awareness and the courage to transform the people around you, your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, your caregivers. They do not need perfection from you. What they long for is presence, openness, a smile, a kind word, a moment of shared truth. Even if you have made mistakes, and we all have, there is still time to bring light into the room. There is still time to repair what was broken, to say, "I am sorry," to say, "I am here," to say, I still love you." So as we close this reflection, I want you to remember this: your value does not fade with age. In fact, your value deepens. Because wisdom is not in the years themselves, but is in the courage to look at those years honestly and grow from them. Let us not waste another day in silence, in bitterness, or in regret. Let us begin again with gentle strength and open hearts. You are still becoming, and you are not alone. If this message touched something within you, even just one line, one memory, one moment that made you pause, then I ask you to not let it end here. There is someone in your life who may need to hear this, someone who may be struggling in silence, someone who may feel unseen, unheard, or unsure of how to speak their heart in their later years. Please consider sharing this video with them. You never know the impact one video can have. A quiet man may find the courage to say, "I love you." A tired woman may finally forgive herself. A lonely soul may feel less alone. If you found truth in what we explored together today, I gently invite you to press the like button. It tells the platform this is the kind of content that matters. Content that heals, that uplifts, that speaks directly to the human heart. If you feel ready to stay on this journey of reflection, wisdom, and quiet transformation, I welcome you to subscribe to this channel. This space was created with you in mind, not for noise, but for nourishment, not for trend, but for truth. And please leave a comment below. Whether you write still strong or share a small piece of your story, know that your voice could be the light someone else needs to keep going. Many of us come from different places, different lives, different seasons. But here we meet in a shared moment of honesty, a place where age is not a weakness, but a teacher. Let us grow older with grace. Let us rise even with wrinkled hands and tired eyes, and choose kindness over bitterness, connection over isolation, and wisdom over pride. If this video reminded you of someone you love, a parent, a friend, a grandparent, send it to them. Start the conversation. Speak the words that have waited too long, because life is too short, and love, when spoken, becomes eternal. You are not done yet. Your voice still matters, and I am grateful you shared your time with me today. Until next time, stay kind, stay present, and remember, every day is a chance to begin again.